What's going on, world? I go by the name of Chris.
I'm Kanisha. I'm Arian.
Tony.
It's Rebecca.
It's your boy Terry.
And we are the Skinners.
The Protos.
And we are the A-Team.
And this is...
And this is the Marriage Plug.
The Marriage Plug.
The Marriage Plug.
It's like a fairy tale, but this ain't a movie. Yeah. The way you make me feel, it does something to me. Yeah, yeah. I want my hands locked in yours with everything you know.
What's up, everyone? It is another episode of the Marriage Plug. Pew, 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 pew. Banger, banger, banger. Another TMP episode. All right, y'all. What's up, y'all? It's TMP. Guess what? We've made it to December. Let me first, before we get started, let me check in on my folks. Let's check on the Protos. Protos, how y'all feeling?
We're blessed.
We're good.
We're good.
That's a good word. Blessed.
I need you to match my energy. Can you match it in this moment? How y'all doing?
We good.
Oh, we good. We good. We blessed.
Can we match it?
Yeah.
We good. We good.
Very good. Parents, how are you all doing?
Great. We're good.
Listen, y'all, we have made it. Let me turn off this mic. I was feeling extra. But y'all, we have made it to December. And you know what? 2020 has been a year. Woof. It's been a year. But guess what? We've made it to December. And you know what? What is the way in which we always close out a year? By reflecting. So this year, we're going to talk about, or this month, we're going to talk about reflecting and how we can learn from 2020 to catapult us forward in 2021. So I believe my sis Arian is going to take us to a higher level in the Lord as far as what we're going to talk about today.
No, actually, I'm going to do it. Thanks. I'm just happy I get to ask a question. So definitely a super important question as we proceed to give you what you need from TMP is, why do you guys think that reflection is so difficult, especially self-reflection? Coming into this topic, you know, we have to think a lot about everything that we said we wanted to do on December 31st, 2019. And now we're going to approach December 31st, 2020, and some of those things may not be done. So, you know, why is it difficult to reflect, especially when it comes to self-reflection? Who wants to go?
I'll go. I think that sometimes it's just difficult, you know, to be able to do that. When we're talking about like 2020, for example, like a lot of people were laid off. A lot of people experienced loss, whether it be a loved one or material, you know, it's, even though some people have had great years, you know, or a great year in 2020, a lot of people were, you know, found themselves in tight spaces, you know? So I think that that's just sometimes hard to really reflect on and look at, like, you know, that person may have had all these goals and things they wanted to accomplish, you know, ourselves included, and we haven't been able to accomplish all those goals. And I think that regardless of whether there's a global pandemic going on, it's hard to really confront that, that I have not done, right? Or I have not completed something, regardless of what the circumstances are surrounding it, it still is something that's unfinished. And I believe that us as humans, especially if you are a goal-oriented human, you don't like that. Because I don't really like unread emails. You know, you just don't like that. So it's just one of the difficult things. It's just kind of hard to confront.
So it probably just depends on the year and how your year went, because it's so easy to reflect on the good things, but it's very hard to reflect on any of the negative things. But you should reflect on a lot of the negative things, because that's how you able to grow and evolve, so you don't make those same mistakes that you're going to run into probably that following year.
Right.
I'm with you, bro. I agree. You know, like you said, it depends on the year. You know, as KP was talking, I was like, us, and Arian was like, no, like, don't be saying that. No, we had a good year. You know what I mean? That's not something, if you had a good year in 2020, you should not be ashamed to hide your good year. We had a good year. And, you know, it's important to reflect on, like you said, you know, the things that can make you grow, and also the things that have made you grow. And so to answer the question that was posed, I believe that it's difficult to reflect a lot of times, especially with self-reflection, because we're only looking at the things that we didn't accomplish, or we're so focused on those things. And that's why, in my opinion, that's why it is difficult to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Honestly, I think reflection is an everyday thing. I don't think this is just at the end of the year. Excuse me. But for me personally, in every aspect of my life, I am extremely reflective because I'm always about growth and a growth mindset and always getting better or being a lifelong learner, right? And I think honestly that reflection in general may be very difficult because it is turning the mirror on something that may be quote unquote wrong with you, if that makes sense. And so I am not the all-knowing being. I am not, the perfect person, you know what I'm saying? Because if I'm perfect, I don't gotta really reflect, right? But I think that is the thing that is sometimes hard because reflection can bruise your ego, man. You can be like, dang, I thought I was this and this, but if I'm really being reflective, I'm out here right now, and so I think reflection can be, sometimes it hurts a little bit because you do have to identify the things that are going well, but also the things that are not. And it makes you take ownership of what's really playing out in your life. And so I think that can be difficult and sometimes hard because you don't want to necessarily face the truth, right? People avoid mirrors all the time. I know I've been avoiding the mirror because your girl is much heavier than I anticipated to be in 2020. But it's like avoidance because you just have to look at your mistakes as something that could be really ugly, but still trying to find beauty in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And
I was gonna say that I agree with everybody as far as the reflection points. Also, I feel like reflecting between like the negative stuff, sometimes it could be good because that's, to me, grow from looking at the negative. Because if it's something positive, I feel like you looking at something like, I already did this and you can do it again, but the negative is hard to, the negative is easier to reflect on, like, okay, I didn't get this done this year, so this is what I need to set my plan up for the next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would you
Well, actually, that's a good thing, though. Oh, sorry, go ahead, sis.
No, I actually was gonna wrap it up because I had something else. So, did you have something to say, sis?
I was gonna say that reflection is actually a good thing. Like, that's how you grow, right? Like, nobody grows when they're comfortable and everybody's telling them, what they want to hear. No matter how difficult it is to look in the mirror, it's necessary. It's necessary if you want to grow. You cool with being, where you are, that's cool. But to grow, you have to reflect that you gotta face that ugly part that you don't want to look at. That's all.
And sorry, y'all. Like, I only said I was gonna wrap it up because Rebecca, you literally said the exact same thing I was gonna say. So that's why I was like, oh, everybody had said, something on this point. So I was gonna be the one to wrap it. But just to Rebecca's point, it's not, if that's what you do, just, it's a thing when New Year's is coming and the end of the year is coming, that's fine. At least you're reflecting and you're kind of looking back on what good has gone wrong and what things that are opportunities that can be improved on. But I think as a culture, not just Black culture, since we're Black individuals, as an American culture, a lot of times we have a hard time taking responsibility for our actions, and we like to pinpoint or project what we should be reflecting or looking into ourselves on other people. Somebody else is always the blame. So that's just something I wanted to bring out on why reflection can also be difficult. And the question I wanted to ask you guys and get your thoughts on is, have you all personally been offended if someone ever, giving you some feedback, whether it's feedback that you agree with or disagree with? Have you guys ever been offended by it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, okay. So I'm thinking about like our relationship, and there have been so many times where Tony has giving me we'll call it constructive criticism. And it wasn't that I was offended, it was that I just needed receipts. You know, when did that happen? You know, give me some, you know what I mean? Give me some concrete to, you know, go off of. Don't just tell me what you feel. I need to, when did this happen? What did I say? You know, because here's my thing. Like, sometimes perception may not be the other person's reality, right? Like, I may say something and you may take it a certain way, or, you know, and vice versa. So it's going completely over my head. Meanwhile, you're upset, right? About something that I said. So I'm like, okay, so what were we talking about? When did this happen? And most of the time he does, you know, have receipts. But then some of the time it's just like, let me think about it. Like, okay, so it ain't that big of a deal then.
That's because it was so many. I couldn't,
wow.
you know.
I got you. Hey, Tom. Hey, Tom.
10.1.
You feel me? Handy dandy notebook.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my God.
And then I think since we're married, it's like I'm only coming at it in a good place. You know what I mean? So it should be constructive criticism and my accountability partner. Like, she's holding me accountable, I'm holding her accountable. Because at the end of the day, throughout the whole year, we're gonna run into some bumps in the roads, but it's like just that extra motivation was like, man, I don't feel like doing it. And she might be like, hey, remember you said you want to do this? And then I'm like, all right, yep, you're right. So let me go ahead and handle my business.
You be offended when I give you feedback?
No, I never felt offended. I probably did in the beginning of our marriage. Because I was like, I'm like, man, you're not my mother.
Yeah.
So it was sort of like, you're my wife. Yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of that was the immaturity of the beginning of our marriage, per se. So I mean, we have grown so much now, so I know a lot of it is coming from a great place.
Yeah, you don't get offended now. It's just like, okay, you're right. I do need to do this and I do need to do that. We definitely hold each other accountable for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
I gotta grow up, bro. I gotta grow up.
You still getting offended, bro?
Hey, listen, sensitive. Like, look, man, I just think, I don't know, man. I'm not there yet. And the thing is this, as crazy as it sounds, I love feedback. I love feedback when it's delivered the right way. If it's not delivered the right way, I hate that feedback. You know what I'm saying? And KP, I'm a little bit like you in terms of like, I need to understand like the pattern that you're referring to. Because Erin is a person who refers to in patterns. She doesn't always let it build up. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. But when she does, I'm like, hey, you know, she's like trying to abruptly stop a pattern of things. I'm like, all right, what are you talking about? Well, in 2015, it's like, wait a minute. Like, he's always, what? You know what I mean? And they really do be good examples. It's just that it's like, well, the expiration, like on this milk, it's done. Like, this is spoiled. Like, so, you know, I'm with the feedback 100%, but I need the delivery to be a little bit more presentable for me to like fully receptive, which is still probably me being sensitive and my own issue. You know, that's the issue that exists.
Yeah, and I was gonna say on that point, Chris makes me think about so it is a lot of times that I actually do come correct, but sometimes people just don't want to hear it at that moment. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. So I will point that out.
Yeah, that's true.
But the one thing that Chris made me think about is like, for me at work, because I don't mind like for Chris, if he gives me feedback, like it's not too many times that I'll get offended. I will say I have get offended, like if I don't believe that what he's saying, like if it's not a good example, I will say that. But for me at work, I feel like, or just anywhere, if somebody is giving feedback and y'all ever feel like it was like feedback that was just trying to pick, it had no premise to it, it had no type of foundation to it, it was just them trying to pick for whatever reasons, whatever the motives were, whatever the intentions were. I don't like when people give feedback with ill intentions, and that's the quickest way to burn me up. And it's not offense at that point, it's like anger, and you'll be won't get cussed out because I have a little bit of control. But you want to like curse somebody out. So for me, I get angry if it's like ill intent.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like when it comes to Terrence, I want the feedback. I ask all the time, what's going on? What's going well? Check in. What's up? And I think I'm pretty receptive. But I'm like you, sis, when it comes to my job, because my profession, I also want the feedback. However, if you haven't had a hand in on something specific that you're giving me feedback on, I'm like, well, then when I was planning this and when I was doing this, you had ample opportunities to share your thoughts and your insights, but you didn't. And so now you want to follow up with the feedback. And I welcome it because I do want to get better, right? However, if you had that point of view that I might have had blind spots in, at the end of the day, I want all of us to win. So however it can be most effective, I want to be a part of that, and then you help, because it don't just got to be me. I don't have an ego like that. I like being collaborative. And so, but when you don't take the opportunity to be collaborative when I've asked, and then in turn you provide constructive feedback and trying to comfort somebody, I'm like, but I asked you multiple times about the feedback, about what you thought about this. I needed more eyes on this because I have blind spots. I'm only one person, right? And I know the ways in which I show up, and I am extremely effective. And I know the areas that I'm lacking in and need some support. And so that's why I ask folks for feedback, right? Before something happens, when we're actually putting it on or something like that, right? But
proactive,
correct.
Right.
And so I prefer to have proactive feedback, right? Not reactive, talking about now that I'm thinking about it and watch it play out. Man, nah, I don't want that, right?
Keep that for somebody else.
But babe, would you agree that I'm pretty receptive, or you just share?
Yeah, you are. For me, I feel like feedback at the beginning of a relationship, I didn't need it for real. I'm like, yeah, I take it with a grain of salt, or sometimes if it ain't what I wanted to hear, it'll go in one ear and out the other. But now, I learned to, because what men don't know, sometimes if you really listen to that feedback of what your wife or woman is trying to tell you, it's some stuff you could really get out of that and put into your life. Like, it's some stuff she didn't talk to me about work, or with me I don't have an anger issue, but me just praying for people that's getting on my nerves, that helps me at work. So yeah, feedback ain't bad all the time.
Yeah.
That was a good way to put it, bro. You pray for them,
Yeah.
And I kind of want to.
I don't know about Aaron. I'll cuss him out.
I kind of want to add to like my sis Arian was saying, like, if it's ill intent, like that can't make you upset. Yeah. And I think though too, we have to also, when we're talking about like reflection, right? If we are offended, I think that there's a piece of us that we have to reflect on too. What is making me so angry, or what is that reflection or that feedback? What about that is making me angry? Because I've had that happen before, again, like in friendships or, on the job, those type of things. Sometimes you do have to think about it, like, okay, regardless of what they, intent was, why is it making me so angry though?
Right. And is there some truth to it?
Right. So
or a sign of disrespect. You know what I mean?
Like, then we back to get it cussed out.
Cycle of life.
You got to reflect on that. Figure out why, okay? Why is that making you so
But
angry?
you know what? One of the biggest things, that disrespect thing that Tony was just talking about, tone is everything for me. The way that you deliver the message.
Yeah.
When your delivery is off, it's real hard for me to receive it, right?
Yeah.
Because your tone provides some insight on your motives for why you're saying what you're saying, And so for me, I struggle when your delivery is off. I'm like, I struggle like Terry. And go ahead, baby.
It's also like we struggle, like if it's something important, I have to pick up the phone and call her. Because like if it's text, that leaves for the mind to just
Interpret
set a tone,
way,
interpret a tone that might not be from her mouth or from my mouth.
Texting don't work for us because I'll be like, what do you mean? I'll be ready.
What I meant.
Things can't get misconstrued in a text.
Hey, let me clean that up. Like, no, baby.
Yeah, right.
Was Aaron, you about to say something?
Yeah, just real quick. I was gonna say, Rebecca and Chris talking about the tone, and it made me think about me and Chris because I'm more quick to elevate in my voice. So that type of tone, but there's another type of tone. So, and I had to think about that. And me and Chris actually went to counseling, and the counselor was like, but do you see how your response is sarcastic? So sarcastic tone. And that's just a bit of our story, but there's so many tones. It's just not the elevation of your voice. It can be, you know, sarcastic.
Body language.
Yeah, it can be body language. It can be any
condescending.
Condescending. So I think that's another thing to keep. People are so quick to say tone with elevation. And I have done that too. Like, but I wasn't yelling. And I know what I was saying, the intent within me was to get him told together. So I think it's all types of like tone that we have to be considerate about when we're talking to people in relationships or among friendships.
Just because we talked about the professional thing, only because we went there. I hate when someone is trying to give feedback and they want you to perform at a level that they didn't train you to. So it's like, you're telling me all these things that I should have, could have, would have done. However, you never actually equipped me to do those things. So how is that your expectation?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good one.
That could come from a place if they see more in you than they are able to
provide,
display for themselves. So they see something in you that is like, dang, I don't have that. However, they have this, and their expectation is a little different. Because I would agree, like, there's folks that haven't trained me, quote unquote, or modeled for me what something looks like. However, when I do it, they expect top notch just because of who I am, not necessarily who they are. That makes sense.
And that's all good points. So why is reflection good?
Because it's called a growth mindset, beloved. You never arrive at anything. Listen, if we talking about life, we talking about professionally, personally, whatever, a growth mindset is so important. You being a lifelong learner is so important. Whatever facet of life it is, not just in your profession, but as just a human being, you should always be seeking out growth and improving and learning, right? Because there's so many avenues and things that we don't know about, or we might have misinformation or little information, and we can always grow and get better. You know, like we're getting ready to really embark upon entrepreneurship. I don't know much about entrepreneurship. However, I want to learn so I can support my husband and him achieving his goals, right? But also, I know I'm really strong about education. And so, I'm going to make sure I'm educated in entrepreneurship to make sure that we're making effective moves for our family, right? And supporting him in that regard. So I'm really passionate about this. I think reflection is crucial for any and every aspect of your life. Because once again, you always are seeking and growing. But that's also me, just spiritually, we are striving towards perfection. We will never reach perfection until we reach Jesus. But in my mind, we always reaching toward, getting better. I'm not falling on the same sin over and over again. I ain't smacking my head on the pavement on the same lesson over and over. You know what I'm saying? I want to smack my head maybe 2 times this year instead of 15,
Yeah.
But that's me.
That's a big improvement to go from 15 to 2.
I agree with you. I feel like reflection, like I said at the beginning, is basically how you grow. I don't think you could grow without reflecting on anything in your life, whether it's your relationship, your marriage, religion. It could be something simple as working out. You have to reflect on whatever you're doing to grow out of it.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I wanted to say. I'm sorry. Is that okay? So I really encourage y'all, if you really want to talk about reflection, I think something is really important is the stop, start, and continue reflection. So if you're thinking about this year, what is it that I really need to start that I didn't start this year? What is it that I need to stop doing? And what do I need to continue doing? Because that acknowledges, hey, there's something I need to improve upon. Hey, this ain't working. I need to stop it. And there is some good that I'm doing, so I need to continue. So I just wanted to encourage that start, stop, continue method when you are reflecting. Okay, I'm done.
And I was gonna say, I think that's a good segue to what I was gonna say, because not everybody is good at reflection. Not everybody is good starters or finishers or both. So my encouragement, I think the good part about reflection is that there are people who are good at it, and people who can guide you if that's not a strong suit of yours. So that's my encouragement. As you're self-reflecting or reflecting, if you don't know what you should be looking towards or how to accept something about yourself or the next steps, lay down the pride and, call somebody, reach out to somebody, read a book, look on, the internet, just read, do whatever you have to do to get to that next level. Because it's sad to say, but I think a lot of times we can, I know circumstances dictate how some people's situations and livelihoods and stuff like that is, but I also think there's another part and another level that we can reach on our own. And that's the part that I want to pull out of people, that part that that next level that you can reach on your own is going to start with self-reflection. And I think that if we can just take that step and we can stop making excuses for what we don't have or what we can't do and just do what we can do, I believe that there's going to be people like Rebecca who do the start, stop, and continue. There's going to be people in your corner that that is going to be able to help you make it to that next step. But we just got to move past the excuse part. It's not, I can't do this. It's what can you do? And what you can do is in the morning, you can think, oh, I'm going to have a great day today because yesterday I spoke negatively. So let me have a great day. That is the very bare minimum that you can do. And I think everybody can do that.
Yeah. Did you want? Oh, for me, even though I asked the question, but I'm gonna add a spiritual side to it, because like for me, like I always look back over my life and just like a lot of the things that God has done for me and brought me out of, like with family deaths and just different circumstances that I've been in before. And it like that helps me build my relationship furthermore with Jesus Christ, to be honest with you. And then that makes us a better couple too, because God is ahead of our life. So we have to reflect on those things, even from the beginning of our relationship to where we are now. And shout out to y'all because y'all helped us with the vision board. So y'all been told us about doing that. So we do that too. And, we go over it throughout the year. And so like, it helps build character in a way, like amongst our relationship. So I really like the reflection part for everything in my life.
Yeah. And I think I'm probably piggybacking on what everybody has already said, but of course, that's a given. You got to reflect in order to grow. But if you don't if you don't reflect, how do you know what you need? Mm-hmm. That's a big piece to it too. And I do believe, again, that's kind of like reiterating what we've already said, but you got to identify those gaps too, so you'll know what you need. If you need more communication, or if you need more resources for something, my sis mentioned, entrepreneurship. So whatever it is that you need, you have to take that analysis basically and put some steps into place to make sure you have what you need.
I agree. You guys.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say something, bro. My bad.
No, that
my bad.
That was fire.
All right, so perfect segue then to go ahead and wrap this up. We really, really hope that you guys enjoyed this video with us talking about reflection. We have some more videos that we're gonna put out for this month, but we just want you guys to continue to stay tuned, continue to follow us, like, share, comment on our videos, get some dialogue going. We still have a lot of great content for you guys. You guys have been so amazing. We love you guys so much, and stay tuned. We still got more to go. So we love y'all. TMP.
Hold it down.
Anything I can provide for you, I'd go right to the sky and bring it back to you. I wanna live, I wanna die with you. Just say the word and watch how all your dreams come true. Just know I got your back, got your back.